Brunson holding. Knicks trying to wait till the end. Brunson puts up a three. Jalen Brunson hits the three with 4.3 remaining.
Welcome back to another special video presented to you by Top Bunk Sports. I am your host, David, aka Top, aka Bunk. And before I get into everything, I just want to say I'm back. Appreciate those that still follow me, that still check out the page, that still shoot me, text and mention me on Twitter and stuff like that. Appreciate y'all. And those of you that follow me on TikTok, appreciate that. The numbers are going up on TikTok, man. So I can't tell you how much I love and appreciate the support, man. Putting daily, Mets and Knicks content with you for you guys out there on TikTok. Some, regular NBA, regular baseball, regular, other things as well. Because TikTok, I'm kind of more open than I am on Twitter and Instagram. As you guys know, when I do Twitter and Instagram, I mostly keep that just Knicks and Mets. But with TikTok, it could be Knicks, Mets, it could be all of other baseball stuff, all of other basketball stuff, wrestling stuff, MMA stuff. um, so, I'm trying to have different, keep one platform, keep two platforms on one, and then have that main platform that's kind of growing even faster for me, and kind of expand it just a little bit. But I really do appreciate you guys watching this video, joining in. There's not gonna be too much of too long of a video, just kind of catch up on things since I've been gone. I took a little bit of a break to kind of just enjoy the playoffs and enjoy the beginning of Mets baseball and just kind of see where we're going. We'll obviously get into that. Um, for shout out to my Knicks fans, shout out to all the Knicks fans on NYKX, man. NYKX, we're in a pretty good mood. Obviously, yes, yeah, the Mets, but I also got my Knicks jersey, my Jalen Brunson Knicks jersey. If y'all could see real quick, can't see the number, but y'all can see the font. Y'all already know what it is, man. We're riding high right now, riding super high, and I'll get into the emotions and all the videos and stuff like that, and all the breakdowns of what's to come with the Knicks. But I want to get straight into the Mets, and obviously, before we get into the Mets, you guys see the thumbnail. I always post a thumbnail here because when you guys, the first thing that you guys see before you click on the video is a thumbnail out there. So obviously, you're gonna see the thumbnail before you click on the video. So once you get into the video, you're gonna see the thumbnail on the jumbotron. Now, obviously, you see the name, New York or nowhere, right? New York or nowhere nowhere. I actually I actually got the hat, as you could see, and it was cost me $45, but why not, man? This is the new black hat, without the white trim. I know people tend to have their opinions on that. So yeah, but I like the way that it is. Even looks the jersey looks good without the white trim as well. I don't have a problem with it. But with that being said, um, I do want to talk about the Mets for a bit. Obviously because we're gonna touch on the Mets and the Knicks, and I do also have a video. Um, Talking about Juan Soto. And, I'm not really going to touch too much on individual players in this video. I could talk about P, I could talk about Lindor, I could talk about a lot of guys on the team. But I could talk about the pitching rotation. A lot of my opinions that you'll see, I'm gonna just get the sticker off. Sticker's kind of falling off. But a lot of the players that a lot of my opinions that you guys see, excuse me, guys, is gonna be on the Seven Express podcast, uh, solely Mets podcast. Shout out to my guys, Chris, AP, Amish, who make the show what it is. I would not be where it's at or what it is without them. They are my other co-hosts. I don't call them co-hosts. It's all of our shows. It's not my show. It's all of our shows. So they are hosts as well. They're not co-hosts. They are hosts. They are the leaders of that as well. So a lot of the Mets takes and a lot of the stuff that you'll hear in depth is going to be on there as well. But when I do cover the Mets here, you'll get the same energy, same type of responses. So it's you're gonna have it on two different platforms. But the first thing that obviously, when it comes to the Mets, I just wanted to do a little bit of a recap. If you guys remember, the last video that I posted when it came to the Mets was a series recap. I had dropped maybe about 4 recaps, starting with the season opener against the Houston Astros, then obviously when we came to back to when we played Miami after that. Then we came back home to open up our home opener against the Toronto Blue Jays, and then I think right after that was the Oakland Athletics, and then I think I forgot what was after that, but I know the last one that I did was basically just taking Seven Express's episode that we did and just posting it on my thing as well. That's kind of why the title it says via Seven Express because you kind of see my thing there. Um, so after that, that was it. You know, Knicks had started getting into started the playoffs, and I was just locked in. I didn't do no content, and I regret that. There's a lot of things that I don't regret based on what I do or what I say. Um, but with that, I do regret because this content thing it makes it fun, right? You have so much fun with it. You always want to talk about the teams that you love and the sport that you love. So when playoffs come, it's a different atmosphere. Your intensity level is up there. Everything rides out well. So when you're not doing content for the playoffs, it does suck. But again, like I've said it multiple times, I put that there because I just wanted to enjoy the playoffs. And now that I'm enjoying it, for those of you that do watch the Knicks, um, there's so much that we could do. And I've always said that, listen, if I can continue my content work and do it at a space where I'm happy and I like it and there's nothing to complain about, I can enjoy what my teams are doing, whether it's good or bad, and still do this content thing. I'm all for it. But the Knicks, are back in the playoffs. Obviously, there was so much question marks about how this team was going to perform in the playoffs, who was going to step up, who was going to diminish the team. And our first test was the Pistons, and we got through that. We got through that, and it wasn't easy. But listen, like I said, I want to talk Mets first before I get into the Knicks. So let's get into it. And this is starting after the A series, where I left off, right? So I did a little graphic, basically kind of summarizing the month of April and what we've seen in May and overall stats from May so far. So I can put the graphic up here, right? So it says Mets April and so far May recap. So if you see right here, I got the months on the bottom and I got the arrows pointing to the stats and so what I wrote so far. So you got after the A series, right? Because this is where I'm picking up, right? That was the last video that I posted for the couple weeks that I after the couple before the couple weeks I was gone. So I said the A's after the A series, the Mets lost two series and took two series while splitting one with the Arizona Diamondbacks. Mind you, they finished off with a four-game series against the Arizona Diamondbacks. They took two and lost two. Overall, they finished with an 18-8 record in April because you gotta not only take what they did what they did after the A series based on where I left off content wise, but what they did in the month of April. So can't complain. Excuse me, cannot complain. Then you go over to May. Mets started the month of May with the rubber game loss to the Arizona Diamondbacks. They did. Because mind you, when we split with Arizona, it was at home. We came to Arizona and we lost. We lost two. And when we finished that third game, it was May 1st. So we lost that rubber game because we took the first one, we lost the second one, and then May 1st we lost that one. So we lost that one, and then we lost the series to St. Louis. Remember, we won the first game. The second game got postponed because of weather in St. Louis, and then they moved it the next day to a doubleheader, and we lost both games by one run. Then after that, we come back to play the D-backs. We take two out of three. Then you stay there to play the Cubs. You take two out of three from the Cubs. You play the Pirates, which the Pirates series we all know was not fun. Even though they took two out of three, it didn't look like that was the type of baseball that we know this team to be accustomed to. Because we didn't deserve to win those two games that we took from Pittsburgh. We should have swept Pittsburgh, and that's the thing that I think a lot of my fans are kind of like, yo, like what the hell? So you should have swept Pittsburgh. You take two out of three, but it didn't look pretty. And then obviously, you're getting ready for the Subway Series. You're getting ready for the Subway Series, and boy, let me tell you that 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 was a frustrating one to say the least. The Subway Series was frustrating to say the least. I mean, you're talking about game one where you lost 6-2. You lost 6-2, and your starting pitcher really couldn't give you much at all. Like he was struggling from the jump. It didn't look right. Um, and you once you're down, I mean, they always say that certain teams can come back from anything. Excuse me, we did it against the Phillies in 2022. Remember, we were down 9-1 or 8-9-1, and we came all the way back from a 9-1 deficit in the top of the ninth inning to take the lead, and we won that game. So I'm not gonna say all deficits are inevitable to come back from, but there are times where where if you can't get no consistency going on either side of the field, whether you're a hitter in the lineup and you can't find no consistency in your at bats, or you can't help the lineup find some firepower, and then your starting pitcher, who again, if you gets taken out early because he can't find the strike zone, he can't control his command, he gives up a lot of walks. Um, that's gonna hurt you. It's gonna hurt you. Let's go back. I want to go back to that game because we did, yeah, 6-2. We lost 6-2, and again, you see it right there. Tyler McGill is now 3-4 with a 3.74 ERA. So his ERA went up just based off of that. Just based off of that. But that was it. That literally was it. They really couldn't do much. I mean, Brendan Nimmo went 4 for 2. Like Lindor went 0 for 5. 1 for 5. Excuse me. One hit RB, one and an RBI. Just overall a bad game. And again, you can't have starts like that when you're Tyler McGill. I mean, look, he had 2.2 innings pitched. We gave up 4 hits, 4 runs, 4 earned, 5 walks, and 4 Ks. Like you can't have that, especially when I feel bad for the guy because of the fact that there's so much put on him in terms of like narratives where it's like, oh, he always starts good, but then he never finishes well. And you could tell that he has some good stuff. He's very inconsistent. And when he gets very inconsistent, it gets worse for him because now it's kind of like a situation of, dude, how are you ever going to get trusted in a rotation? So the Mets have a lot to deal with when it comes to him. I really don't have no complaints about the starting rotation at all. Griffin Canning's doing amazing. David Peterson has been solid. Corey Senga has been solid. Um, like, bro, I can't complain. I can't complain at all in terms of that. But this team overall, you know, they overall, like hitting wise, they can't score with runners in scoring position. They can't. It's like they're allergic to it, and you're not gonna win baseball games like that when your 3 best hitters are going 0 for 4 like they did on Sunday, and, you left a lot of you've been leaving a lot of guys on base. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna work. I'm sorry. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna happen. You're not gonna be able to get success like that in baseball if you're not moving your runners and you're not scoring them when they're in scoring position. It's just what it is. And we learned that on Friday when we lost 6-2. We had multiple chances to go ahead and try to make a rally, score some runs. We didn't do it. 3-2, we kind of did the same thing. We took the lead, they took it back. We took the lead again, they took it back, and then it just took a top of the ninth sac fly from Francisco Lindor to score. If I'm not mistaken, I believe it was Acuna at third, and that gave us a 3-2 lead at the top of the ninth. And the Edwin Diaz would come in, he would close the game, and we would win by a score of 3-2. So you take the second game, and they're like, yo, they're gonna be pumped. They're gonna be pumped for this game, for rubber game, because both teams have won on each other. What was that? I mean, David Peterson, like I said, pitched his ass off, but the fact that we can only muster up 2 runs. And mind you, those 2 runs were because of Jeff McNeil. Jeff McNeil had a runner on in the beginning of the game, hit a single to advance the runner from second, and that put us on the board. We were already down two. We were already down 2-0 in that spot. Um, in that game before Jeff McNeil came in and put us on the board. And then I believe in the fifth inning, Jeff McNeil was at third and he scored on a wild pitch. So those 2 runs that the Mets managed to have on the board is because of Jeff McNeil. And for those of you that follow me on Twitter, I basically put out a tweet saying, listen, Jeff McNeil should be starting the next game. It's not because of Boston. It's not because of who Boston is and what they do against lefty righties. To me, that doesn't matter. If it's a lefty lefty matchup and a lefty comes in here and says, I just I, j- it's 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 a situation where you really can't help yourself. You can't help yourself. So you know they 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 really couldn't muster up anything, especially with scoring with runners in scoring position, and then you have Cody Bellinger, who blew the doors off with that grand slam, and made it 8-2, and basically that was all she wrote. I feel bad for Genesis Cabrera, but going back to the chart here again, once they took 2 out of 3 from the Yankees, this is the overall stat within May so far. Because we got about 2 more weeks to go before we get into June. Uh, the Mets record so far in May is 8-8. Season record so far, this far, is 29-18. Now, granted, that can change based on this game against the Red Sox, which they lost. So now it would be 29-19. The Mets are only 10 games up above 500, and right now they have a losing record in this month. They're 8-9. So, you know, there's a lot to clean up. And I would say the one thing that needs cleaning up is the infield defense. Um, I've been a huge advocate for Mark Vientos after he came up here last year. Mind you, I didn't want him as a third baseman. I said Brett Beatty, but last year Mark Vientos proved me wrong, and now this year is kind of like, okay, like do- what what do we do? You know what I'm saying? Like, what do we do with this guy? Because the inconsistencies in his at bat and his approach are nasty. And then it doesn't help that at third base, he makes a lot of stupid errors. Where Brett Beatty is calm, collected, and his fundamentals are there, and you could just tell that he's a better defender at third base than fucking Mark Vientos is. As much as people don't want to hear it and they don't like it, that's just the honest fact. Um, and again, I was a guy that advocated for Mark Vientos to be playing third base every day, and now it's like we're getting away from that conversation. Um, you're gonna have to think about a situation where I know a lot of people may not like it because Mark Vientos hasn't really played all that much in that position, but you're gonna have to think about possibly, playing Vientos as a DH, when it's time to hit, and just have Brett Beatty played third, where he's kind of taking over the reins right now because he's shown that he can be better. So that's a situation that they got to fix. Um, Another situation where somebody else is, waiting for his opportunity because somebody else is taking it. Francisco Alvarez and Luis Torrens. Francisco Alvarez right now is looking like he is not a major league hitter. With the approach at the plate, what he's swinging at, this brother, it just for how many more years are we going to give this guy an excuse about the inconsistencies at the plate? I will never question his defense behind the plate. I will never be question what type of catcher he is. I love the kid. If I could take if I had some baseball knowledge and I was up in the majors, as a hitting coach, I'll fucking sit with that kid every day trying to see what's wrong with them. Uh and that's just what it is. Luis Torrens is sitting there like, yo, when am I ever gonna get my moment? You're not giving it to me. Um And yeah, man, because it's like Luis Torrens, while Avi was hurt, he was hitting. He was hitting and he was hitting consistently. The defense wasn't bad. And it's just like Alvi comes back and then Alvarez was like, yep, back to the regular schedule program with Alvi. I gotta give him as much time as he needs. And granted, again, certain guys need a long time, but it's just you could just hear my voice because you just watch Francisco Alvarez, dude, and I can't even keep my face in front of the camera because it's just like, dude, I'm just so frustrated with the kid, because that's not him. You know that he could be better, and for the betterment of the team, Carlos Mendoza needs to have a conversation with this guy. And it's like, listen, if it's not there, if it's not there, don't you know if you're hurt, don't play. If you need time off, don't play, but don't force yourself, bro. You're struggling right now. Yes, people to you need at bats. You need people behind the ear to kind of help you, and it falls back on not even on analytics. I would just say it falls back on the hitting coach. Um, with the hitting coaches, it's like, dude, you're in the dugout. You're watching all these guys at bats within their approach, whether within their stance, whether how they hold the bat, their timing, your swing motion if something's wrong with it, your extension, uh, all of that, and then you have the iPads to kind of show that proof. If you're not having a conversation with this kid, and that goes for everybody else is slumping, if you're not having a conversation with him, if you're not having a conversation with Nimmo, if you're not having a conversation with Juan Soto, like hitting coaches are there for a reason. If you're not doing your job as a hitting coach, where what's the point of having a hitting coach? You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot to deal with, but so far right now, the Mets are 29-9. They obviously lost to the Red Sox. I'm recording this late, guys, just to let you know. So I'm pretty much updated with where the game is at right now. The Mets lost 3-1 to the Boston Red Sox. The Boston Red Sox take the opener of the series. And once again, the Mets fail to capitalize on runners in scoring position. Your big heavy hitters really didn't do much. Um, Other than that, man, in terms of the Mets side, there's really nothing that I could say in terms of, yo, the bullpen needs to be better. Can't be standing all the time. Can't be Huascar Barraza all the time. Can't be uh Reed Garrett. It can't believe them. You know what I'm saying? It can't be them all the time. We need other guys to step up. We need other guys to step up. And I put Stanek in there, but I know Stanek is kind of like he's kind of been struggling. So it's it's the bullpen has been shaky, but the starting rotation I can't complain about. These are guys that were called reclamation projects last year, and the year prior, and David Stearns took everybody in and was like, "Yo, we're gonna test Clay. We're gonna take the risk. We're gonna test Clay Holmes as a starter. Griffin Canning, you went 5-13 with a 5 point something ERA. Cool. Come to the pitching lab. We're gonna help you out." You know what I'm saying? Like, look at Luis Areno. Luis Areno wasn't gonna be a Yankee coming back. They all fucking put snakes on the floor, if that's AI or not, but they all put snakes on the fucking floor, and it just it, it just got fucked up, man. It just got fucked up. So hopefully the Mets, like I said, come out of this little funk. They're 8-9 as we speak with a 29-19 record so far in May. So hopefully they end May on a good note. But with that being said, I do want to get to the main thing. The one thing that got me excited the most. Hold on, let me get a drink of water real quick. I do want to get to the main thing, and this is what I want to get to. Ladies and gentlemen, the New York Knicks are headed to the Eastern Conference Finals. Yo, this is crazy. Now, mind you, I have not put out a video on the Knicks since they beat the Miami Heat, and I think they're third to the last game of the season, if I'm not mistaken. After that, I didn't put out a Nick video in a while. Like I said, I was ready for the playoffs, no distractions, none of that. And dude, it bro, the feeling that I got when I went down there to the Garden after Game 6 was done, and just everybody came together because, like, dude, we haven't made the Eastern Conference Finals in like 25 years. Like, this is it. This is our moment to win a fucking chip. I put two graphics. I put like basically a playoff summary of what's happened so far. Obviously, the Knicks and the Pistons. Knicks took game one, three, four, and six, and that six was pretty magical because of this.
Bridges to toss it in to Brunson. Defended by Thompson. 15 seconds left. Brunson takes a peek at the clock. Thompson digging in defensively. 8 seconds. Brunson stops on a dime. Launches. Oh, yeah! Jalen Brunson buries it. Knicks lead by 3. The Brunson burner ignited. 4.3 on the clock.
Wow. Talk about some stones, creating some separation right there. And Brunson going for the dagger right there. Had Thompson on him. Was able to get loose. A little crossover play.
Jalen Clutch Brunson, my point guard, my God, fucking sent the Pistons packing. And that's, again, he came like he's been all year. He's the reason why he's a clutch player of the year. Clutched up again, man. That's all you need. So they advanced to the second round. Like I said, they took games 1, 3, 4, and 6 and defeat the young, crafty Detroit Pistons. Now this is where it kind of met I wouldn't say met, excuse me. Well, met Nick Yankee fans and Yankee Nick fans. This is where everybody was kind of conflicted because they didn't know if the Knicks had the opportunity, or not even the opportunity, the team per se, to go ahead and eliminate the Boston Celtics, reigning champs. We were 0-4 against them in the regular season. So everybody said we were gonna get stomped. I had people saying, uh, there's a lot that goes on to that. But yeah, they were saying that we had no chance. They were basically saying Celtics in 6, and this is what you got. This is what you got. And again, I'm gonna play it because just because for my emotions, but I know people already seen it, but you go into game 2, you go into game 1 and game 2 in Boston, and this is what you get.
It's off to Brown. Bridges there. They hold it. They trample. It's over. The Knicks have won. What a comeback and a game 1 win for New York.
And then you get this in game 2.
The Celtics. They're going to go. They're not going to use the timeout. Plenty of time here. It's Tatum. Robinson's on him. Tatum maneuvering. Oh, the ball knocked away. Another great defensive play for the Knicks. They've got it. They've won it. New York has gone up 2-0. And defense again at the end.
So the Knicks showing that you got to play very, very tough defense against the defending champs. Not only in the paint, where they don't really find so much consistency on offense, but on the perimeter, you got to tighten up. And of course, in game 3 and in game 5, we got our asses kicked, and it wasn't pretty. It wasn't pretty. I mean, even in game 3, we got blown the f out. Then we come back in game 4, and again, the pressure defensively on the ball, on Jason Tatum, on Jaylen Brown at the end of the game where it mattered. The Knicks did what they needed to do, and the thing is, the Knicks weren't down that bad. That's the crazy thing. The Knicks were never down that bad from game 4. They stayed all the way through. And game 5 is the same way. Game 5, it was the same way. Stayed all the way through. Right? So you man, you go on to game 6, And pretty much this right here is what you'll get. This right here is what you'll get, man. I can't, like I said, can't even say how much proud I am. Like, this is what happens. You get this too.
For the first time in 2.5 decades, the New York Knicks are going to a conference final. And they do it in dominant fashion as they defeat the Celtics in 6 games. It's their largest playoff win ever.
Again, and I got that from TikTok, but you get that, and it's so important because people don't understand. Again, you see it right here on the bottom part where it says Knicks versus Pacers, Eastern Conference Finals. The Knicks will face the Indiana Pacers in the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time since 1999, 2000. That's fucking crazy. Well, listen, I gotta change that because it's from 98 to 99. That was the first time we beat them in the Eastern Conference Finals. And then that year, 1999 to 2000 is when they beat us. They got a revenge. But that that Eastern the semifinals win where we beat the Celtics meant so much because number one, you hate Boston. Doesn't matter what it is, you can't despise Boston. They're your rivals for life. Like it is what it is. I despise Boston. So when you get an opportunity like that, especially during this season where we're 0-4 against her. You know what I'm saying? Like we were just bad. We were just bad. So um, to come into the Garden, TD Garden, and take two from them, and then kind of cook and go off in Game 4, and then do what you need to do in Game 6 to just close it out at home, win a playoff series for the first time at home since '99 2000, which was against the Pacers. Do something, and make history. Just end it tonight, man. Make history. You got the crowd behind you. Everybody deserves that moment. Do it, and it prevailed, man. It prevailed. I'm super proud of this team and what it's done, man. I'm really, really happy for this team. Words can't even explain, I can't even explain to you um what I've seen. And again, I'm only 24, so I don't want to make it seem like I'm in my 50s, 60s. I've seen the Starks and no, I didn't get a chance to see that. But my favorite player was Carmelo Anthony, and when he got traded here, I was always on that nothing could stop me type of vibe because you got one of the top guys in your on your team, and you could build around him. So I wasn't seeing that one coming, but appreciate that. But yeah, man. So now, before I do go, I just want to, kind of show a little bit of history that we have here. I've made a little chart. Knicks versus Pacers playoff history. Obviously, you see it right there. 99, the Knicks beat the Pistons in 6 games in the Eastern Conference Finals to advance to the finals, where they lost to the San Antonio Spurs, if I am not mistaken. Or that was yeah, that was 99. So Spurs, and then the Pacers would get their revenge the next year. The Pacers would defeat the Knicks in the Eastern Conference Finals in 6 games. Uh, yeah, so you got that one, and then you have obviously 2012, 2013. The Pacers would defeat the Knicks in 6 games to the address that you located, and then obviously last year, uh, to advocate. So the Pacers would defeat the Knicks in 6 games to advance to the Eastern Conference Finals. And then obviously, 2023, 2024, we all know they went to 7 games. OG was hurt. Brunson got hurt in the game. A lot of injuries. Pacers would defeat the Knicks in 7 games to advance to the Conference Finals against the Celtics that year, who completely destroyed him. So, I think they swept them. I think the Pacers swept, not the Pacers, Boston swept them. So if that's a fact, They that well, I'm looking for revenge, man. I smell blood in the water. I smell blood in the water, and I can't wait. I can't wait for Wednesday, man. But listen, with that being said, I'm gonna end this video right here. I really, 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 really do appreciate the love and the support from everybody, man. Please continue to follow Top Bunk Sports on X, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Like I always say, like, follow, share, and subscribe to the channel, man. Make sure y'all share it, make sure y'all like it, and spread the love, man, because that's what we doing, man. We only going up. But like I said before, I appreciate y'all, and I will see you guys in the next video.